All right, so some students were saying that they were concerned they wouldn't be able to do the division homework without getting some help on it. So I told them that I was going to post a video on Google Classroom of some examples of division problems. So the first way I'm going to show you is just standard algorithm. We're going to do the problem 1,252 divided by 3. So remember our steps for standard algorithm or for box method are D, M, S, B. So that's the first thing that you should do is just write down those steps, D, M, S, B. So first we're going to divide the D. We're going to divide 3, and we're going to see if we can divide 3 into 1. Well, 3, we can't do 3 times anything to get 1, because even 3 times 1 would be 3, which is larger than the 1 that's there. So we're going to actually have to move over and do 3 times the full 12 instead. So we can see, if you know your math facts, we can see that 3 can go into just 12 4 times, because 3 times 4 equals 12. So we're going to put a 4 right here, since we just divided into 12. Let me get rid of this down here. And then our next step is going to be to multiply. So we're going to multiply 3 times that 4 that we just wrote. So we're going to do 3 times 4 and get 12. And that's going to be it for the multiplication. Next step is going to be to subtract. So we're going to subtract what we just wrote. And we're going to do 12 minus 12 and get 0. And then our final step is going to be to bring down the next number. We're going to bring down this 5. And now we have to go back up to the beginning of the cycle. So next thing we have to do is we have to go back up to the divide step. And now we're dividing 5 by 3. So now we have to see how many times 3 can go into 5. Well, 3 can go into 5 one time, because 3 times 1 is 3, but 3 times 2 is 6. So we can't put 3 into 6 2 times. That's too much. So we're going to have to just do 3 times 1 equals 3. So that means 5 divided by 3 is 1. And then we multiply 3 times 1. Because we just wrote that 1 up there, we're going to do 3 times 1 next. So 3 times 1 is going to be 3. And now we're going to do our subtract step. So we're going to do 5 minus 3 is 2. And now we're going to do our bring down step. All right, so we brought down our last 2. And now we have to go back up to the beginning again to divide. And now, so we're going to divide 22 by 3. How many times can 3 go into 22? Well, we have to say 3 times what is going to get me as close to 22 as possible. So, well, let's try 3 times 7. Okay, 3 times 7 is 21, so that could work. 3 times 8 is 24, so that's too big. So we're going to have to stick with just 3 times 7, which is 21. So 3 can go into 22 7 times. So we write our answer to our division. We always write the answers to our division step up here on top. And then we're going to do our multiply step. So we're going to multiply 3 times that 7 that we just put up on top. And we're going to, hold on, let me get rid of this stuff on the bottom. So we're going to do 3 times 7, and that's going to give you 21. And then we're going to do our subtract step. So we're going to subtract, do 22 minus 21, 1 left over. And our last step would be to bring down the next piece, but there's nothing left right here to bring down. So we are just going to have our answer as 417 with a remainder of 1. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the box method, because some of you really like that. So remember, the box method is really just a different way of organizing the standard algorithm, but we're going to do 4,256 divided by 6. All right, so to do my box method, I need to write a rectangle, draw a rectangle, and then I have to split that rectangle into however many sections you have in your number. So I have 4 digits in my number that I'm dividing by, so I'm going to put 4 sections in my rectangle. I'm going to do 4, 2, 5, and 6, and then I'm going to put this 6 that I'm dividing by over on the side right here. Okay? So then the first step here, I'm going to make my boxes a little bigger just so I can make sure I have plenty of room. Sorry if you can hear my chicken going nuts right now. Oh, she just stopped. Oh, no, she's starting again. Okay, so we still have the same steps, DMSB. Still have DMSB. So what we're going to do is we are going to, first of all, divide. So the first step of dividing, we're going to see how many times 6 can go into 4. So 6 cannot go into 4 at all. 6 can go into 4 0 times. So we're going to put a 0 right here on the top. Because remember, we always write the answers to our division problems on the top, whether it's standard algorithm or box method. And then we have to say, okay, now we're going to multiply. So 6 times 0 equals 0. And now we're going to do our subtract step. We're going to subtract 4 minus 0 and get 4 left over. And then this is where our step is a little different than standard algorithm. Instead of bringing this 2 down like we would with standard algorithm, we're actually going to bring our 4 up and write it next to the 2 on the left side of it like this. Okay? So that's what you do for the box method. You bring up your digit and write it to the left side of your next number. All right? So now we have to go back to the beginning of our 4 steps. So we're going back to the D, which is divide. So now we have to divide 42 divided by 6. Well, if you know your math facts, we know that 6 times 7 equals 42. So 42 divided by 6 would just be 7. So we're going to write that answer up here on top because 42 divided by 6 is 7. And then we're going to move on to our multiplication step, our M. 6 times 7 equals 42. And then we're going to move on to our subtract step. 42 minus 42 is 0. And then we're going to go to our bring up step. So we're going to bring up this 0, put it next to the 5. All right, so that's actually not going to change that number. It's still going to be a 5. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to divide 5 by 6 because we're going back to our divide step. So 5 divided by 6, well, how many times does 6 go into 5? 0. So we're going to have another 0 right here because we can't fit any groups of 6 in 5. So 6, then we have to multiply. 6 times 0 is 0. Then we have to subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. And then we have to bring up the 5 next to the 6, like this. All right, we're done. We're going to back up to the first step, the D step. And 56 divided by 6. All right, well, I know that 6 times 9 equals 54. And again, you can use your multiplication slides to help you with this part. And I know that 6 times 10 is 60, so that's too big. So I'm going to have to stick with 9. So 56 divided by 6, the closest I can get is 9. 6 times 9 for the multiplication step is 54. Next step is to subtract. We're going to subtract 56 minus 54. We're going to put 2. And then the last step would be to bring something down, or bring that 2 up, but there's no more boxes over here. So that's just our remainder. So our answer to this problem would be, I'm going to circle in red, 709. Answer is 709, remainder of 2. All right, I hope that helps you guys.